There are three main factors influencing early immune status and gut health in broilers. The first of these is the chick itself, and the fact that it comes from breeders that are well protected with respect to vaccines and general hygiene and husbandry at the farm. The second is biosecurity at the broiler farm itself. Obviously this is becoming more and more critical. And the third is the role that nutrition can play in supporting the immune system and supporting early development of the gut and limiting the potential incubation of pathogens in the gut. It was about 16 years ago. A graduate student came to me who was actually in swine nutrition, and they wanted to test what was the equivalent of an early weaning diet in pigs for young chicks, which really has become known as specialized pre-starters today. And as part of that diet there was quite a large dose of blood plasma, and the results were quite dramatic, and since then I've always had an interest in looking at the role of blood plasma in early nutrition and overall economics of broiler and poultry production. Definitely seems to be an immune modulator, which is a very difficult thing to measure. At the farm level, we see that in terms of feed efficiency. So there is a very practical way of indirectly measuring it. Whenever we feed plasma, we see an improvement of around 5 points of feed conversion. And that, I'm quite convinced, is reduction in immune status of the bird, or not overstimulating the immune responsiveness of the bird to pathogens or to vaccines today. We see a big range of feed efficiency out in the field across different global regions, and a lot of that is due to immune status and the bird having to raise antibodies to various challenges. So it seems that plasma can help reduce that energy cost. It's really a net energy cost of maintenance for immune competence. And so, as I say, very difficult to measure in direct terms, but the outward sign of that is 5 points of feed conversion or more than that, which the industry obviously is very interested in. It is a highly digestible source of protein and amino acids, so it plays a minor role in replacing soybean meal in birds under 10 days of age, which is an important factor today. But the response you see to plasma goes way beyond there being a simple improvement in digestible amino acids. So it is this. It's the functional proteins that are in the plasma that are giving the underlying response that we see. Even though we're only feeding plasma from between 4 and 10 or maybe 4 to 14 days, the response is seen throughout the life of the bird, and that's where the saving in maintenance energy comes in. In generally healthy birds, the main one is going to be feed efficiency. In all birds it will be feed efficiency. But in birds that are generally healthy and have good immune status, generally good gut health, then we still see the response in terms of feed conversion. If you have a major disease challenge, and this is where plasma becomes really interesting because the results are quite dramatic in terms of reducing the mortality that birds face with either bacterial challenges or viral challenges. So dramatic results when there is a natural disease challenge, but all the time there is that underlying saving in feed efficiency, which I think the industry is most interested in. It's very well established in animal nutrition. If you feed cats and dogs, you're buying cat and dog food, especially cat food, there's likely to be plasma in there. It's a highly digestible protein for pet foods. That's one of the main areas. Of course, it was picked up by the swine industry about 20 to 25 years ago. And I would suspect that 90 to 95% of the baby pigs in the world are fed plasma as soon as they're taken off the mother and given solid feed. So it is well established in the animal industry per se. It's a relatively new technique or a new idea for poultry. And the industry is relatively conservative in general terms, so it takes a few years for new ideas to be accepted. But we're seeing acceptance now, and so I think there's a role moving forward, especially as we rely less and less on antibiotics and other pharmacological agents used to support health, that we have used to support health in broilers. I think it's a total replacement. It's not there will never be a single factor that replaces antibiotics. It will obviously be a multifaceted approach. I think plasma, for the first 10 days has quite dramatic effects on gut health, but it's along with other factors, and it's interesting that they are synergistic. So using probiotics, for example, or essential oils, or betaine, butyric acid, they're all synergistic to using plasma. So it won't be the replacement factor, but it'll be certainly an important tool in our arsenal for replacing antibiotics.